Hey guys, my name's DocJade and welcome to Factorio. In this series, our goal is to hit 1 million green circuits produced per hour. That sounds like a lot, but we'll get there eventually. As per usual in most runs, we'll start by picking up spacecraft debris and then very quickly move to the nearest huge rock to get some coal. It's quicker to mine one of these to get about 40 coal than it is to mine coal on the ground. Here we'll set up our first burning miner drill. They're very slow, but you gotta get ore somehow, and I'm not doing it by hand. And don't forget to snag a tree or two right now. You'll need them for electric poles later on. Also, fish in this game are extremely OP. When you eat a fish, you regenerate health, and the cooldown on this regeneration is very low. In super early game, as long as you have some fish in hand, it doesn't matter if you have to punch a nest to kill it, you can get away with it. Here, I'll demonstrate. As long as you have fish, you can just sit here and spam them. So punching is overpowered too because it doesn't require any ammo and doesn't take health or anything. So you could just sit there and do it for all eternity. And there we go, our first nest down. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get back to expanding our iron production. I'll also be placing down some copper and coal production. And I'll show you a cool trick for coal production later. With some iron and copper under our belts, we can finally set up some basic power production and cue our first research. If you look, there's another nest to our east. We'll probably have to take that out soon. Anyway, here's the cool trick I was going to tell you. So if you put your burner mining drills in a circle on top of coal, they'll power themselves infinitely. And once they fill up, they'll just stop mining. So you can go over there and just control click to pick up all the coal inside of it. And right off the bat, I changed my mind about that automation science and go straight towards military because I want to get rid of that base nearby. And I want to be a little bit more, equipped for it. There I chucked in 3 science out of the 10. And here's another 5. Another cool thing is steam engines actually will hold a little bit of steam. So as long as you can get steam into them, they will continue to run even with no constant input, as long as the power draw is low. So for one lab, you can pretty much run an entire research off of like 5 coal. Speaking of research, there's military science. I'm immediately going to craft a shotgun and some shells because it has higher DPS than a submachine gun, although it is a bit harder to aim at biters, so I still craft a submachine gun as well. Also, when you're early game and you don't have walls unlocked yet, you could use pipes. Work pretty well. Here's me abusing fish a little bit more. I switch back and forth between the submachine gun and the shotgun, so I can take out the biters quicker and then, do heavy damage to the nests. And there we go. That's nest 2. Fresh off the heels of that battle, I immediately want to move on and kill this next nest, but it was a bad decision. I failed to notice that I only had 4 clips of submachine gun ammo. I had plenty of shotgun ammo, but issue is I wasn't able to get close enough to those worms to even do enough damage. So they very quickly killed me. That acid on the ground stacks. Don't forget that. Anyway, I'm slightly mad now, just irrationally, so I immediately just craft everything back up and just storm right back over without thinking about it. And you're not going to believe what happens. Well, so that obviously didn't work, so let's move on. We're going to go research gun turrets instead of automation now because, I want my stuff back. Your body lays on the ground for 15 minutes and you can still go back and pick up all your stuff. Here I set up a stone miner because I usually forget it, and I'll need it for walls later. Anyway, gun turrets are finished researching, so we can build some of those and head back over. Gun turrets are pretty overpowered in the early game. As long as you have enough ammo to keep them full, they will take out about anything, up to a mid-game base, as long as you have enough to spam around. All you gotta do is get nice close up, place them down, and fill them up, and back up and watch the show. And that's base 3 down. 3rd time's the charm. And let me tell you, I'm so grateful the corpse cooldown is 15 minutes and not something shorter like 5, because otherwise I would always miss it. Anyway, let me repair these turrets real quick. Now we need to expand production a little bit more, so I placed down some furnaces. We're not going to hook them straight up to miners for reasons I'll show in a minute. And there's automation science. Probably won't use it for a little bit though. And for some reason, I queue walls instead of logistics. No idea why. Anyway, we'll expand our power real quick. Route the electricity up to the rest of our base. And we'll tear down all of the old miners because they are getting replaced with new and shiny electric miners. These are so much faster. Thus, I can use more furnaces per miner. You may be wondering why I haven't set up a furnace smelting array yet, and that's a good question. In the early game, it's actually a little bit easier and usually quicker to just grab the ores and put them in manually. Also, another cool thing about that circle of burning mining drills, you can just expand the circle if you need more coal. That's why me and so many other people use this setup early game, because it's just so easy and so convenient. We're actually mining more ore than we can smelt at this point, so I add more furnaces. And right here is where the vicious cycle of Factorio begins. I don't have enough ore for my furnaces now, so I build more miners. But now I don't have enough smelters for the ore, and so on and so forth. Anyway, set these up real quick. Super early game, it might be worth it to take some time to just stockpile as many plates as you can, because you're not producing a ton of pollution yet, so it doesn't really affect you in the long run. Anyway, now that we've gotten a ton of resources, we can actually invest in creating some science automation. And there it is, our first automated science pack. But guess who forgot to put coal in the boilers? After a little trip to pick up some coal and to kickstart the boiler, we have electricity back. Back to grab more plates, and there it is. Stonewalls is done researching. Probably won't use them for a bit either. Now we could start working on researching logistics, which gives us underground belts and splitters. Also, we're currently producing more science packs than we're consuming with that one lab, so I built a second one. Now that I've got a decent stockpile of iron plates, we're going to move these miners onto belts and start setting up an actual smelting array. There's a design I like to use that uses underground belts, but we don't have them quite yet because we're still waiting on that logistics research, so I'll just place down the miners for now. And there it is. Now, check out how pretty this design is. You could put the power poles between the underground belts so you end up with a higher density of miners overall on the ore patch. And there we go, ore on a belt. Now let's copy and paste that and get the same thing going for copper. Now we'll pick up these furnaces real quick because we'll need them for the smelting array later. And there we go, copper on the belt. Oh, I almost forgot that underground belt. There we go. After absent-mindedly picking up coal for so long, I've got a bit too much of it now, so we can tear down the old burner mining drills. We'll replace them with electric ones shortly. Now let's make sure we get this coal lined up with the rest of our stuff real quick. And now I'm going to research optics because, you know, lights are pretty. Anyway, let's finish upgrading this to electric miners and get the belts in there. And there we go, coal's hooked up, but we're running a bit low on power now, so I'll go build some more of that. Fun fact, each one of these offshore pumps can support 10 boilers. And now lights are researched. Real quick, I'll set up a belt for the coal because we're going to belt it in eventually anyway. Now I'll research electronics, not because it unlocks anything, but I'll need it later anyway. And now let's get started on this smelting array. But, small issue, I actually don't have enough resources to build it, so back down the furnaces go. Anyways, back to designing the furnace array. I'm going with the splitters on both sides of design because I think it's aesthetically pleasing. The two middle belts will be the output for the plates, and then there'll be another belt going around the outside to supply the furnaces with coal and ore. Now, after remembering the furnace ratio, also known as Googling it, we can decide how big we want the furnace array to be. I've decided that I want to put one belt of ore in and get one belt of plates out, so the ratio for that is 48 furnaces for one belt. Now I'll copy and paste it because we need two of them, one for iron and one for copper. And there's the electronics research. Now we'll hook up coal, and then we'll go grab the old furnaces so we can stick them in the smelting array. Now I'll start placing the inserters, so hopefully we can get this up and running soon. Then we can go plug it in. Up until this point, I've been crafting everything by hand, which is pretty slow, so I'll set up some belt automation so I don't have to do it anymore. These assemblers aren't getting items quickly enough, so we're going to have to upgrade to fast inserters once they're done researching. We're going to put splitters on the ends of these furnace arrays so items end up on both sides of the belt. Now that we've got belts of copper and iron plates, we can start building a bus. And there's fast inserters done researching. Let's go upgrade that setup. And now that we've upgraded the inserters, the belt production is a little bit more steady now, which is good. Now I'll set up a little temporary setup for green circuits. Green circuits take iron plates and copper wire to produce, but there's a little weirdness with the ratio. The ratio is weird because it actually takes 1.5 copper plates per iron plate. So that's why it's 3 assemblers to 2 assemblers instead of 1 to 1. And there we go, some green circuits. But you may have noticed that both green circuits and belts take iron plates, so we can combine them onto one belt. Now we'll start expanding our furnace array again. Well, you're about 10 minutes and 58 seconds into the episode, so if you're enjoying it so far, please consider leaving a like on the video. Anyway, there's steel processing researched. We won't use it this episode, though. And there we go. That's the finished smelting array. As per usual, I forgot about the stone production, so I'll build that now. And there we go. But looks like I'm going to need to up power production. Now, kind of strangely, I'm going to put the stone on the main belt because I'm actually going to use it for concrete later. But I left just enough room to squeeze a little bit of stone brick production in here. It's going to look kind of wonky though, using a lot of underground belts. Now I'm finally going to split off some coal so we can use it to power the furnaces so I don't have to run coal back and forth. Anyway, we'll put in these furnaces, hook them all up with inserters, plug them in, and there we go, stone brick production, which is also going on the bus for some reason. Also, I forgot to balance the stone output, so I'll do that right now. And would you look at that? There's the pipe wall we set up to take down the second base. I'm also putting coal on the bus because I'll need it later for plastic. Now I'm finally getting around to automatically moving coal downtown to go burn in those boilers so I don't have to refill it by hand anymore. And we were a bit overdue on needing more power, so I'll build some right now. Now, real quick, I'm going to save and quit and install a mod. Don't worry, it's nothing game-changing. All it's going to do is display how long I've been playing this save file in the top left, so you can kind of see how much time has flown by. For example, you're only 12 minutes and 51 seconds into this video, but I've been playing for an hour and 30 minutes. That's pretty nuts. Anyway, I'm going to expand coal production real quick. One of the miners is actually sitting on top of both coal and copper, so it needs to go through a little splitter. You can see it on the left there. Now I'm going to start automating green circuit production because, you know, we're an hour and 40 minutes in and I still haven't set it up. So here I'm recreating a green circuit design that most people use. I'm doing it from memory, so it's probably not exactly the same. Anyway, I'm trying not to use blueprints in this playthrough until I get to like trains and rails and stuff, because that's where I really suck. But we can't design for long because very quickly we are attacked by some biters. Looks like we finally created enough pollution to piss them off. This is kind of a bummer because I was hoping I wouldn't have to set up walls for a bit longer because it takes a while, but, you know, they've pulled my hand. So after I rebuild and repair these steam engines, we'll probably start designing a wall instead of green circuits. Real quick, I'm going to set up a temporary defense so I can go and grab more walls so we can design a good wall. What stinks is we were in the middle of designing those green circuits, so now we got to go build the wall. Just kidding, we're building the green circuits first. Now we can start setting up some basic wall production. I say basic production because walls only require one ingredient, and that's stone bricks. And thankfully I already made them and already put them on the bus. Neat. Did I mention how much I hate cliffs? I can't wait for cliff explosives. Here's a little biter attack that tried to sneak up on me. It failed. But they came from a different direction, so that means they're from another biter nest, which is not good news. So I'll place down a radar so we can try to find them. But radars are too slow, so I'll just go on foot anyway and check it out. See how they're just on the edge of our pollution? They're starting to absorb it, which is making them attack. Also, there's this giant area above us that's probably full of biters. I should go check it out. But first I need to start building the wall, because I don't want to get attacked from all sides while I'm gone. And after a good 10 seconds, here's our wall design. And with lots of turrets comes lots of ammo, so we'll set up ammo production real quick. Behold, another sneak attack. Really crappy one, though. I'll add another assembler just in case. And I forgot to put ammo in those turrets I put down, so now they're all getting attacked. Great. And I put all my ammo in one turret because I'm very smart. And I accidentally somehow pulled up the help menu. Very cool. Anyway, now we'll hook up our ammo line. And there we go. That's the initial wall done. Now all we got to do is run this belt all the way around it too. I should really set up some turrets over here. And just for fun, we'll put some walls around the spaceship too, and some cool lights. And we're just about ready to connect the ends of it, but we're going to feed the ammo back into itself twice so it spreads it out more. Otherwise, we'd end up with a big clump of ammo moving around in a circle, and that would be no good. So now, even if we have no ammo coming in the back, like right now, we can still get ammo out of the front all the time. Or for a very long time. That's a good reminder to stop staring at it and get back to work. But first, I came up with a better design. Same principle as before, we just feed the output back into the input. Now I finally had time to build more green circuits. But same issue as the belts, the inserters aren't fast enough, so we'll have to upgrade those real quick. Back to expansion, there's a base below us and at the side of us, but there's nothing above us, so I think we'll wall off the sides of it and the top of it, and we can expand our base into that giant area. Also, here's another crappy biter attack, watch this. They're dumb. And we should start expanding upwards as soon as possible, because there's no more room for our bus, and I'm not going to go into that cliff on our right, that would suck. But before we do that, behold, more temporary red science. Had to reinforce this part of the wall real quick, there was a biter attack. But here I realized that going north with the wall doesn't really make sense when I can go east and just block it off with the lake instead. So I'm going to redo that now. But we're about to research steel axe. Check out how quickly I can delete these with it. Pretty nice. Oh, and this is sped up. Yeah, I wish this is what the steel axe did. Anyway, old wall's gone. We'll move it now. But we're going to check out this area first, and there's some uranium. That's super nice. Also, in this huge giant area, there's no biters at all. Kind of weird. Now it's time to expand our iron production again because we're using so much for ammo. Also, I put some lights in there because I thought it looked cool. I've never had gears on my main bus before, but I see a lot of people do it and they enjoy it, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So I started setting up gear production, but then I remember a really cool tip I saw online the other day. You can swap what side of the belt stuff is on using filters, so you can put input and output on the same two belts, and it looks really cool. These biter attacks are getting more frequent, starting to get worried. Anyway, I'll finish this wall real quick. In go the belts, and whoops, we got a giant biter attack that I didn't notice going on our left side. Forgot to put turrets over there. So we'll go deal with that real quick. So I'll put some defenses up over here, but these attacks are getting more frequent and they're bigger waves, so I'm kind of worried we're going to start seeing medium biters soon, and that won't be fun because we're not really prepared for that yet. Anyway, so I start setting up turret production because, you know, we need a lot of them. Crafting by hand is too slow. I'm going to use the same belt weaving technique I used for the gears, so I can put 3 items on 2 belts without using long inserters because I do not like long inserters. I only use them when I absolutely have to. And there's another biter attack. Anyway, let's finish setting up that turret production real quick. Don't forget to limit your chest so you don't end up with a whole chest full of turrets you're never going to use. More iron. More turrets. I finished building that wall to the lake, so now it's time to take our ammo north. Right about here looks like a good spot to turn left. Lots of belts. It's a long line. Anyway, there was this nest in this upper area that had actually migrated in since the last time I walked through, so I got rid of them real quick. And more belts. Now we'll start building turrets for the top section. Now it's time to turn the belt around and head back south. But lo and behold, I can't be left alone for a single moment because I've got a massive biter attack on an undefended side. And they also managed to take out the spaceship. I'm gonna go cry now. I'm back. What did I miss? I rebuild the spaceship memorial out of sheer respect, and I start working on adding defenses to those undefended sides. Which I'm glad I decided to do, because I immediately got attacked on that side again before I could even set up defenses. Seems I forgot to defend this corner too. Also, the lights are starting to flicker, so that's a good sign it's time to increase power production again. Hey, there's oil on the map. Luckily, it's not too far away. And with that light, we now have turrets on every side. Now we're going to build a diagonal wall up towards that lake. With that wall connected, we can now finally connect our loop of ammo. And there we go, now the ammo flows in a big circle. Now I'll add some radar so I can see the whole base at once. And there we go, whole base is covered. And with that, we can now end today's episode. If you want to be notified about the next episode, make sure you turn on channel notifications. Until next time, my name's DocJade. Bye-bye.